Another day, another English lesson.
WH questions in the past passive voice.
Hello there. You've probably learned about WH questions. Those questions that start with words like what, who, when, where, why, and how. These words help us ask about specific details like people, places, times, reasons, and methods. But what happens when we combine WH questions with the past passive voice? Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Let's break it down. What is the passive voice? The passive voice is a way of structuring a sentence where the focus is on the action or the result, rather than who performed the action. For example, active voice. The chef cooked the meal. Passive voice. The meal was cooked by the chef. In the passive voice, the subject of the sentence, the meal, is the receiver of the action, and the doer, the chef, is either mentioned at the end with by or left out entirely. Why use WH questions in the past? Passive voice. WH questions in the past passive voice are especially useful when 1. The action is more important than who did it. 2. You don't know who did the action. 3. You want to sound more formal or neutral. For example, instead of asking, who wrote this book? Active voice. You might ask, who was this book written by? Passive voice. Both are correct, but the passive version shifts the focus to the book rather than the author. How to form WH questions in the past. Passive voice. To form a simple WH question in the past passive voice, follow this structure. We won't use the by phrase in this unit. WH word plus was, were, plus subject, plus past participle. Here are some examples to show how these questions are used in real conversations. What? A. What was decided at the meeting? B. A new policy was approved. Who? A. Who was invited to the party? B. All the neighbors were invited. Note, who was is correct, even though neighbors is plural. When? A. When was the letter sent? B. It was sent last Friday. Where? A. Where was the treasure found? B. It was found on a small island. Why? A. Why was the project delayed? B. It was delayed because of bad weather. How? A. How was the problem solved? B. It was solved by working together as a team. Why this matters. Using WH questions in the past passive voice can make your English sound more natural and polished, especially in formal or professional settings. It's a great way to focus on the action or result, rather than worrying about who did it. Now watch and complete the sentences with the correct WH word and the past passive voice of the verb in parentheses.
What was discussed in the meeting this morning?
The new budget plan was discussed. It looks like we'll have more funding for the project.
Who was chosen to lead the team?
Sarah and Bob were chosen. They have a lot of experience in managing big projects.
When was the decision made to cancel the flight?
It was made yesterday, after the weather forecast predicted heavy rain.
Where was the conference held last year?
It was held in Barcelona. The venue was right by the beach.
Why were the packages delayed?
They were delayed because of a strike at the shipping company.
How was the problem with the website fixed?
It was fixed by updating the software overnight.
What was decided about the new office location?
It was decided to move to the city center. The new space is much bigger and more modern.
Who was invited to the product launch event?
All the major clients were invited, along with some journalists and influencers.
When was the new policy introduced?
It was introduced last month, but it won't take effect until January.
Where were the missing documents found?
They were found in the filing cabinet under a stack of old papers.
Why was the meeting rescheduled?
It was rescheduled because the manager had a last-minute conflict.
How was the winner of the competition selected?
The winner was selected by a panel of judges who evaluated all the entries carefully.
Thank you for watching this worldwide ELT English language learning video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more language lessons.